Good morning and welcome to the new episode of Frontiers of Knowledge. You enjoy internet, but are you aware that the internet that comes to you from any corner of the world travels at the speed that is simply mind-boggling? Microsoft and Facebook have just 3 days back they completed the job. A super fast 4,000 miles, that is 6,437 kilometer long internet cable across the seabed in Atlantic, and it will go live next year, 2018. And can you believe that the speed of the transmission of data would be 160 terabytes per second? That means 71 million high-definition videos can be streamed at the same time. 71 million high-definition videos. And you must be thinking that this sort of a cable, the internet cable, under the sea, must be pretty thick. No, it is just 1.5 times as thick as a garden hose. But it starts from Virginia Beach and goes to Bilbao in Spain. That's the extent of the length. We all are aware that North Virginia has been a hub for the major internet data centers. And this latest cable would connect US to Europe. And next year they'll extend it from there to Africa, to Middle East, and to Asia. And that is a job which Microsoft and Facebook have done, which is not their job. Normally, these cables are laid on by the telecommunication companies, and the internet software, hardware companies simply pay the telecommunication companies to use that. But Microsoft says that the cables laid by the telecommunication companies are so inefficient. And let's not discount the fact that all those cables are fiber net cables, and being fiber optic, they are very efficient. I remember just 15 years back when fiber optic came for the first time in the picture. It was viewed as something exotic, something mind-shattering, and the last word in the speed of waves, sound waves, and the light waves. But now, according to Microsoft and Facebook, highest capacity subsea cables across the Atlantic. And do you know at what speed would it transmit data? I told you 160 terabits, but imagine it. You have an average home internet connection. This would be 16 times faster. 16 million times faster than average home internet connection. The third partner in this feat is Telefonica, a German company which will process and operate the cable. And the result would be lower cost, and upgrades to the equipment would be easier. The designation employed and the presentation of material, as shown by Microsoft, Facebook, and Telefonica, are very easy to discern that Now the tech companies want to own their own cables. And the reason is very simple. As I said earlier, the telecommunication companies have a lower speed and there's a possibility of hacking. Therefore, companies have started investing in that. Microsoft, Facebook, Google are increasingly getting into this role. Last year, Amazon Web Services, AWS, invested in Kawasaki submarine cables to speed up the performance of its cloud customers. And that will also go live in June 2018. And according to them, that's the fastest and the largest link between US and Australia and New Zealand. So on the one side, US to Europe, and then to Africa and Asia. Other side, at the same time, from US to Australia and New Zealand. So the whole world has been knit together at a speed which is mind-boggling, 160 terabits per second. So why is it happening? Let's not forget that the tech companies want more and more bandwidth. And that bandwidth they cannot have if they don't own the product. Any competitor would like to ensure the failure of any other tech company. That's a business rivalry. So they will give the portion, they will give the time when it's suitable to them. And these tech companies are cash rich. Let's not forget that. For example, one company, Telegeography, now provides 38% of the total worldwide used international bandwidth. And people like Facebook, Google, Amazon, they cannot do with that because then their activities are restricted. So they have got to have their own connections, and C is there, which can be utilized for that. When you stream latest TV series, download high-resolution photos, you are probably unaware that data behind them is speeding round the world in cables and receive. Now, in Canada, for example, you want to download something, and the information which is coming to you would not be from Canada. It would be from USA. The transmissions are in different places, and the broadcast is from a different place. So the combination of that is from the cable headquarters. At present, that is centered in Virginia. That is becoming the hub or the junction of all activities. Today, there are 40 submarine cables in the world. And are you aware that the total length of these is 1.1 million kilometers? So 420 submarine cables spread over 1.1 million kilometers. They are responsible for providing you the live streaming. I'm talking to you. What I'm talking to you is being transmitted to Virginia. From there, it is going all over the world. So the fulcrum of the complete services, of the technical services, is United States of America. And that gives that country the strength which no other country in the world has. Now this is a positive thing for USA, and it can also be a negative thing. Because the concentration of all the activity is in one place, it's easier for the hackers to penetrate. Despite all the firewalls, despite all the protection that is there, it is much easier for them to hack at one place than to go to the different places. And by the way, when we are talking of this, subsea cables is not something new. Are you aware that the first intercontinental cable was laid down in 1858? 1858, and it ran from Ireland to Newfoundland. And that was the first telegraphic communication between England and Canada. Currently, the highest undersea internet cable is 9,000 kilometers long between US and Japan. They called it faster. It connects Oregon in US with Japan, Taiwan, and it's again owned by Google. So there is quite a tough competition going on between Google on one side and Microsoft and the Facebook on the other. The demand for the internet capacity is increasing every day. There are billions of consumers and the industrial devices connected to the internet and communicating with each other individually, VoIP, voice over internet telephony, and group-wise, social-wise, the social media, is increasing the demand for internet, increasing the hunger for internet. And by 2020, in the next 2 years, according to Cisco, the consumer internet traffic would increase by 260%. Now, you have laid on the cables, agreed. They have fast speed, agreed. But how do you protect these fragile cables? When they are laid down, they are laid down by specially designed ships, which can lay down between 100 to 150 kilometers of cable every day. But fiber optic cables, as I said earlier, are very fragile. They are surrounded by a lot of tubing, layers of tubing to prevent damage. But there's one other element against which can be no protection at present. Till today, there's no protection, and that is from sharks. You know, these cables emit electromagnetic pulses. And do you know, the sharks, when they are hunting for their prey, also emit the identical pulses, which are electromagnetic in nature. So when these cables are emitting these pulses, the sharks are immediately assuming this to be a part of the prey, that their impulse, electromagnetic, which they have thrown out, is coming back to them after hitting the prey. So they come and bite the cables. And there lies a problem. There is no way you can protect from the sharks. So what they have started doing is that they are now constructing another layer which shall hide the electromagnetic pulses as long as the cable is under sea. So this will also deter the hacking. Hacking, as some authority was telling me, is never done on land, or normally not done on land. They hack the cables, and from there they extract the information. Sometimes they penetrate your system, and sometimes they penetrate the conveyor system. So both ways that problem is there. Whatever the reason may be, hacking would remain a problem and cybersecurity would be a danger. But the speed at which the information is being carried out, because once the information is carried, it's like a stream, it's like a river. Then by the time you hack it even, it becomes useless. So the speed, the protective firewalls, the protective layering is ensuring the high-speed internets and the highest possible imagine speeds possible by the help of undersea cables. Cables that transmit information at 160 terabytes for you to enjoy and listen to my talks. Thank you.